and welcome everybody. This is your host Shalini from the Shuddh Desi Radio, and I have a very special guest today in the studio. I will give you a little bit introduction of her, and then we'll talk to her. So Neetu Rishi, she is the CEO and founder of the Success Door, a personal, professional, and fashion coaching academy for youth and adults. Besides being the director of youth education at Dale Carnegie, she is also a leadership executive coach, motivational speaker, pageant coach, model, and author of two books, A Different Monday and I Am Unstoppable. She has modeled for many brands like Dimple Kapoor, Elegance by Monica, Sutradhar, and many more. She recently added another feather in her cap, Mrs. India Elite Universe 2023, and she's all set to shine on the big stage of Mrs. Universe in Atlanta coming this October. So welcome Neetu Rishi, and thank you for coming here to our studio, and congratulations on winning this title.
Thank you so much, Shalini, and thank you Shuddh Desi Radio for having me. I'm just enjoying the journey.
Wonderful. I know you are very busy in this process, so I will quickly ask you a few questions. So what has been your inspiration? What inspired you to participate in this pageant, and what do you hope to achieve through this experience?
So I think this is one of the long-term goals that I have been working on since few years. I remember 2017, I decided that when I jumped into the role of being a pageant coach after participating in a pageant, I decided every 2 years I need to kind of upgrade myself, right? The way when you do certifications or any kind of trainings, you upgrade yourself, right? So I decided that every 2 years I'll participate in pageants and upgrade my knowledge, my experience, my skill set, my network. And I did that. 2017 I participated, then 2019 again I participated. Then I was supposed to participate in 2021, but due to COVID, that goal wasn't achieved. So it was 2023 again after 2 years. So this was my time to participate. That was my ongoing inspiration. But now I this year wanted to come out of that comfort zone and try for an international level pageant. I've been working with South Asian pageants as a pageant coach now for 4 years. But I wanted to, push my limits and see how anxious or how scary it can be being in a role of international pageant. So I think that was one thing that kept me going. And the whole purpose is all behind learning, because when you go out of the box and think that way, meet people from different countries, you learn better and you become a better coach. So that was my whole sole purpose. The second question you asked, what do I hope to achieve from this, right? To achieve from this, definitely be a better teacher, a better pageant coach. But at the same time, now I'm ready to go global with my own business. So this will help me to expand my wings, meet new pageant sisters from different parts of the world. I know there are 24 different delegates coming from different countries. So excited to meet them and maybe learn from them.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you for sharing your journey from 2017 until now. And I didn't mention you before, but I'm loving the crown on your head, and that makes me really feel proud.
Thank you so much. This crown is not just mine. It belongs to each one of you who has supported me in this journey.
Well, that leads me to my second question, which is about particular to this pageant. So how was your experience first time when you held that crown in your hand and you knew that I am Mrs. India Elite Universe? So what was the experience? Were you expecting? You were nervous? What was that? And how's the preparation going on?
So I think today morning only, I learned from one of my friends. She said, if you say I'm nervous, that means you are fearful. But if you say I'm anxious, it means you are hopeful. Mm-hmm. So I would say yes. Earlier, I was nervous. That means I was scared because it was my first time doing something like this. Mm-hmm. And I had to ensure that my goals my purpose in life is aligned with what I'm doing, or I'm just doing it for crown, right? Sometimes we are just too much attracted towards this glamorous life of holding a crown and having that being in limelight. But I think my purpose of the why behind this was much bigger, to go global and be able to sit on the chair of significance, what I say, where you can give back to the community. So that was there. But now I'm not nervous, but I'm more of anxious, because I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing so. So that has changed the shift of being scared. But yes, holding the crown the first time was definitely something which was not in my vision board. I'm more of a planned person. I feel everything should go with whatever I decide and plan, and it happens by God's grace. But this time it was something unexpected. When it came to me, I was like in shock what happened. It took me some days to digest that. But then I patted myself that good job, Neetu, you've done it. And it's just the beginning. So let's keep on doing. And then started my planner for the next level, the Mrs. Universe, for which I'm working on with different people. I was working on my fitness. I was working on staying healthy, my skin advisor, my costumes, everything. And every day practicing in my heels for 2 hours so that I don't mess up there. So I think all those detailing, I'm trying my level best to bring that preparation, because I want to give my 100% when it comes to preparation.
Absolutely. And while talking to you, I'm also picking up a few things from you during this conversation. Like, being nervous is a different thing, being anxious, small things, keeping yourself healthy, like you said. So definitely. I mean, you are an inspiration for all of us in that way.
Thank you so much.
So that we talked about your pageant and how the progress is going on. Now let's talk about a total different topic here. About different we all know that we have a different kind of segments in any of the pageants, like rounds, so to say. So. So these rounds, so many people have different opinions about the importance of the talent in a pageant. People really think it's just about the, how you're portraying yourself, how you're walking, what you're wearing, etc. So what is your perspective on the role of the talent in a beauty pageant?
Okay, so I think I have experienced two types of pageants now. The first one is the South Asian pageants, which I've done, and I've been a coach with them. But I've also hold an experience of international pageants now. One is through this Mrs. Universe, and then earlier I worked with Mrs. Asia World as well. That was also on international level. So I think both the pageants have their own importance, and I truly love what everybody does around me. But the difference I would like to convey to our audience is what I have seen. I might be wrong, but in South Asian pageants, it's more about just that 2 or 3 days of your involvement, where they ensure that how involved you are, how are you networking, how friendly, how kind you are to the other participants, right? But at the same time, the talent round is more about bringing your skills on stage. It could be anything. Maybe you're in fine arts, you're dance, singing, public speaking, playing an instrument, comedy, whatever skill you have or your passion that you bring, because that shows a different personality, and the judges are able to actually understand you better. And then comes the finale, where you walk in your traditional round, then your evening gown, your walk, your talk, your posture, everything matters, your confidence. So that is the perspective for South Asian pageants as per my experience. But with the international pageants, whether it was Miss Asia World or whether this was Mrs. Universe, in this, they mostly check on, I think, two things. One, they want to see how influential or how much you are involved in the community. How are you holding that position of being a community leader or a community supporter, right? So they ensure to check what's your purpose, what are the nonprofits that you're working with, how much community work you have already done. It's not that just today you apply for the pageant and you say, in 1 month, I'm going to connect with all the nonprofits and do this to show. No, they do ensure that have you worked in this in the past as well. So for me, I would say in this pageant, it was a win-win for me because I've been working with nonprofits from last 5 years and something which aligns with the goals of the pageant as well. The second thing in this is it's a 5-day pageant in Atlanta where they will be giving us tasks. We'll be taken to orphanages, foster homes to see how kind or how we put that gesture in front, right? And that will show our personality. And then we have a forum presentation where you have to give a speech for 5 minutes, which can inspire the audience, right? It's scary, but if you are true to your purpose, it's easy, right? And then the finale is where you represent your country without speaking anything, but your costume says everything. And then the swimsuit round and the final evening gown where the crowning is done. So I think that's the difference, but it's okay. Both of them are checking the confidence, how confident you are and how passionate you are to win this crown for a bigger role in life.
Right. I mean, thank you so much for explaining that, because in general, we know one aspect and we know we are aware of one sort of pageants. Now with the international pageants, like you told, like they have a different way of doing different rounds. So that's like a new thing for us also and our listeners and viewers will know, like
And some of the international pageants, instead of forum presentation, also do interviews where a panel of judges, for example, 5 people are there and every participant enters into a room. It looks like you are giving an interview for a job and 2 or 3 judges will ask you a question related to your personality. They are not answering the questions in front of the audience, but in front of just the judges. So that is another aspect. So it depends on, all the different platforms, how they want to do it.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with me. The next question I am going to ask you about, I know your work towards Fly. That's your show. And I would really want our audience, viewers, to know more about Fly. What is Fly and what you do through that show?
Right. So Fly means first love yourself. I still wonder how that name came to my mind because it started with, I remember when I moved to United States, I just launched a page, Learn to Love Yourself with Neetu Rishi. And then it changed to First Love Yourself. And then we abbreviated it, became Fly. But the purpose behind, so basically Fly is a fashion show extravaganza that we do once a year. It's a theme-based fashion show where we collaborate with different designers. But what is the ultimate goal behind that? It started with myself when I first time participated in a pageant. And the organizer came to me and said, because we had to fill a form, our height, size, and I was told that your height is 5'1", your age is 40 plus, and your dress size is 8. Are you sure you want to participate in the pageant? And I replied that, so what, my height is 5'1", my confidence is 6'2". So what, my age is 40 plus, I do have a bucket list. And so what, my dress size is 8. I know how to walk gracefully and I'm participating.
Wow.
So that started. I did not win anything in that pageant, but I walked away with lots of confidence and a lot of networking connections. But in the second pageant, I saw there were few girls, because once you don't win, right, you take that failure to your heart. And there were 2 girls who I kind of disappeared. I had coached them and then they were not ready to come out. They even discontinued being on the social media. So somehow I related my story that there might be many more people like me because of that criticism. Sometimes the society throws on you or unintentionally we take it to heart. I want to encourage them. So I started the concept that I will inject that confidence in you and let's give you a stage exposure so that you're ready for everything that life throws on you. And that's how Fly first was done. It was an experiment. It worked out great. First year we had 17 girls whom I coached. Second year we made it to 31. And this year was our Fly Chapter 3. We had 65 students whom I coached the whole year. And then we did that fashion show with them this year. So that's going on. The family is increasing. And again, the ultimate goal is to build that self-confidence. It could be in the form of just learning communication. But if you are into glamorous world and you love that passion, that's another way of giving that confidence to them.
That's such a beautiful thought and beautiful, inspiration behind starting this
Thank
flight.
you.
So I just totally love that, how it started, and then
Mhm.
you felt the need of, giving others the confidence and whatever you learned and giving back to the community and giving back to the society. Totally, totally love that. You are truly an inspiration, I must say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You are also an inspiration. I know that. I think we all learn from each other. We all uplift each other, right? So that's a good thing.
True. But today is about you. So we'll talk about you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, the next question I'm going to ask you is that if you were to be crowned as the winner of this pageant, and so first of all, that thought, and I am sure you're going to be the winner. So, what specific projects or things you have in mind, initiatives you have in mind that you would do after you win this pageant, and those
So,
will
yeah,
make an impact in society?
that's really a good question, which makes me go back into when I had to fill this registration form for applying for this pageant. From last 1 year, I had in mind that I want to be connected with, in simple terms, it was written on my vision board to be connected with a big NGO. Now, what big means, I don't know that, but I really wanted to connect with someone where instead of starting my own nonprofit, I wanted to be a part of any cause where it aligns with my goals, right? So I happened to go to India and I was invited by a nonprofit by the name literacy.org, where they were underprivileged girls and I was teaching them on communication or social skills. And then there were three girls at the end of the session. They come to me. They had already checked my Instagram, which talks all about fashion. So this one girl says, "What is this fly? And I've seen it's a fashion show. Do you think she asked in Hindi, of course, that can I come to your country and walk on that big ramp?" I said, "Yes, why not?" She said, "Will you teach me?" I said, "Yes." She says, "But my parents cannot afford to send me there." That was the day I questioned myself that, can I afford to bring her? Instant answer was, of course, no. But then I thought I can figure out, right? If there is, you have a determination to do something, you'll find a way. And then I was constantly looking for some options, how I can do something like this, where I can encourage these people. And then I met Sabrina Pinion. She is the director and the founder of TCP Universe Pageants, through which I spoke to her. And she was Mrs. Universe in 2014. And then she had this vision of, again, helping people, but it was more on taking pledge. So it contains 3 different pledges. First of all, the name of her nonprofit is the Pledge Campaign Foundation, under which the first is a pledge for men, where they encourage men to take the initiative and speak up for the people who are maybe, victims of domestic violence. So they involve men as well. Then for the women to choose whom they choose to love, right? And say no for a person. And the third is the kids pledge, where they encourage kids to speak kind words, because they feel if you are kind to others, that gets echoed back to you and you get the good things from others as well. If you are good, the world is good to you. It also talks about saving animals. So all these things, when I saw, I felt it is something me. This is something which touches my heart, even though I've been working with many nonprofits in terms of education, but I think this was something which aligned better and we kind of synced well. After talking to Sabrina, I felt that's my place. I win or I do not win, but I will support her. And the day I started my journey, I started supporting her. And we are here now, all set. So when I win the pageant, I definitely will continue to work with Sabrina and take her vision to the next level. If it doesn't happen, I still hold the crown. I still hold the responsibility towards my community. So I would just feel that, yes, God give me that strength that I continue and stay true to what I'm saying today in public.
Wow,
I think
that is so noble and so beautiful to hear. And I wish and I hope and I pray that you continue, you win first of all, and then you continue in this path. Yeah, as a role model, what message would you like to give it to the young girls and young children, boys about self-confidence and self-esteem?
I think this word S holds a lot of importance in my life because I always say there's a triple S formula. The first starts with self-love. If you do not love yourself, you will keep doubting yourself because world is not going to spare you. Life is not easy. It's beautiful, but you have to make it beautiful by ignoring some things and you have to move on. So self-love is the first thing. Love yourself more than anyone else. Look into the mirror every morning and tell yourself, I'm proud of you and you are the best version of in this universe. The second thing is self-aware. Sometimes self-love should not be taken as obsession that I'm the best. Don't be overconfident. There's always a scope of improvement, so be a lifelong learner. And the third is self-growth, where every day learn, grow. I don't feel shy learning from even youngsters. You won't believe for my pageant, the walk practice that I'm doing, she's just 20 years old girl. But because I connected with her a few years ago and the way she walks, I said, can you help me? I want you to guide me on my walk. She said, Miss Neetu, are you kidding? I said, no, there's no harm. And I'll announce it publicly that my coach is a 20-year-old girl. So I think those three formulas, self-love, self-aware, and self-growth are the three things. If everybody follows that, life is beautiful.
I mean, thank you so much for telling these three essays to us. Some people knew, some didn't. It's a reminder for everybody, not just like a young generation, for everybody. I mean, wonderful and beautiful talking to you, Ms. Neetu. I want to congratulate you once again and all the best and my all best wishes to you for winning this crown and you go and win the pageant next, which is happening in Atlanta. So all the best to you and thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you so much for having me and keep listening to Shuddh Desi Radio, I would say, right? So that you can listen to me and her beautiful voice. Thank you, Shalini. You are an amazing host. I loved doing that conversation with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.